Well, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live, Sunday morning edition. Yes. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here on this Sunday morning. How y'all doing? You know what we're going to do? We're going to do our usual. I'm going to give the little spiel. I'm going to wait for a couple more people to get in the chat, and then we are going to get it rolling. Unfortunately, Transformer won't be here to join us this morning. He's got some stuff going on. I think he's got duty today, so he won't be here, but he certainly wants to give his thoughts on the Lakers versus Celtics last night. So there may be a live coming up on that later today or tomorrow. So we'll see what we got going on. Good morning, gentlemen. My main man, Steve, how you doing? Sid Bubba, good morning, Chief. Shout out Navy. Shout out the boys from Annapolis. I guess I'm going to have to do that for the next 280-something days. Yes, today is definitely my day, and we'll talk about it. But before we get to any of that, you know what time it is. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept aware anytime we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you enjoy the content as you listen, make sure you give us a like, a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And write it down, put it in your phones, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the podcast and you want to help the show continue to grow, make sure you go ahead, click that join button, join the channel. We're going to have some exclusive content just for you. So, G, I know you saw this the other night, LeBron versus Stephen A, right? I know you've heard about it. I don't know if you had a chance to check out my thoughts on it that I did yesterday on a live, which ended up going like 2 hours, totally unexpectedly. But yeah, let's go ahead and I'll play the video real quick. So Stephen A. Smith, he discussed it on the Stephen A. Smith show. You see LeBron basically running up on him in between, I think, the third and fourth quarter break at the Lakers-Knicks game the other night. And according to Stephen A., LeBron is like, that's my effing son. That's my effing son. Don't talk about my effing son, right? And so, you know, he basically tried to verbally and physically bully Stephen A., as you can see. But I'm like, really? That's real soft, man. So before I even get into my thoughts on it, where are you on this? I would love to hear what you. I think I know which way you're going to lean, but I want to hear this.
Yeah, man, I thought that was a clown move. I mean, at this point, his son is a grown man. It was a couple months. I think Chuck brought this back up. It was like a couple months. He was saying that, hey, look, Bronny is don't give a F. He don't give a F what people say about, him. And now you run into his attention. I just don't know what Stephen A. said to trigger this, and if this was staged. I do know that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what he said about his son. I didn't see him like. I thought he was gentle compared to like how other people just.
I thought so too.
So that was another thing. It was like, was this a stage? Was this an act? But if I'm not mistaken, Stephen A. is supposed to go on Skip Bayless show.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was very interesting.
That might be worth the watch. I don't know how.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be happening this week.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, man, you gotta do more playing basketball, man. Man. It's just, you gotta win, bro. That's just how it works. Like, win or sit down.
Yeah, no, I actually, I'm surprised you went that way, because I thought you would be under the, you would be on the line that a lot of people are on, that he's just a father defending his son, and I'm like, nah, I don't see it that way at all. It was interesting when you heard what Stephen A. actually had to say about it afterwards. He was apologetic. He was really like tail between his legs, and I'm like, why? Because yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I thought the storyline the story he told about Kobe was a better story than this one that they painting right now. Like, this narrative that they painting that, LeBron is jumping in front of his son, taking a bullet for him. Like that. That's really weird, man. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, you can't stop nobody from saying what they want to say. You gotta, like, almost 18,000 fans in the stands, and they
Mhm.
all telling the same story. Like, if you're a bum, you're a bum. But there's a lot of kids that really like him, like that really follow him, and that's probably why his jerseys so many. I don't know. I don't know what the hell LeBron doing, man. Running up on old ass Stephen A.
Right,
Man, it's
right.
crazy.
Like, come on, man. Yeah, that's a real. I called it a sucker move, and that wasn't the term I wanted to use. Good morning, salute, Kareem. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Your favorite hater? Yes, I did hear that story. Yes, I heard it. Yeah, I knew about that. I remember when it happened. But yeah, so my thing is this, G. First, let's do this. Remember, in my estimation, LeBron started all this, right? Remember this? Remember this? This is you opened this door, LeBron. You started this, right? So you already remember from the time Bronny was in 8th grade, you bring it up, you want to play with your son. Then when Bronny's a senior in high school, you put this stuff out, okay? And then I think there was a game that the Lakers lost one night, and he was like, he tweeted out, Bronny could help this team right now. Okay, cool. All that's great. But then we see that, and I'm not saying Bronny's a bum. I said this yesterday on the show. LeBron is not LeBron. Bronny is doing his thing in the G League, right? So I definitely gave him his flowers for that. But this was interesting. Sid Bubba called in yesterday, and he said that he thinks it's a lot more than that. LeBron wanted to just go at Stephen A for everything, and Bronny was the smokescreen. And I was like, I hadn't even considered that. I thought it was a very astute point, because he just used Bronny as the cover to attack Stephen A. But my thing is this, right? Remember, I said from the beginning, like, if you're LeBron, you are the one who pushed your son into the middle of the street. Now you're mad because somebody came and hit him with a car. You want to beat up the driver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You put him out there for public consumption. You talked all this about him. You made it a thing, the history making moment and all that stuff. So I don't understand this. And to your point, Stephen A has been very gentle and very kind in the way he approached this whole thing. He wasn't as brutal as he could have been, right? As a lot of other people, including myself, were, right? Early on, I was like, yo, this guy's a bum. And again, I shouldn't have called him a name, and I apologize for that on a previous show. But Stephen A has been annoyingly deferential to LeBron and his son. Every time he talks about them, you hear how he talks about them. He's got to offer like a 90-second soliloquy first before he can go into whatever he's saying. By all accounts, he's a wonderful young man, and I wish Bronny all the best. And LeBron is a wonderful father and philanthropist, and da, 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 da. And I'm like, really? Why you have to do all that? Just say what you guys say, man. Just say what you guys say. But yeah, so now Bron runs up on Stephen A, and I'm like, Stephen A like 6'2", 6'3", LeBron like 6'9". Stephen A is old, LeBron is 40. Like, you running up on this dude. I think that he timed it out perfectly by doing it in the break in the game. He knew that he would, attack him verbally, and that Stephen A wouldn't have a chance to respond, because Stephen A says that he was like, yo, we can talk about this another time. And LeBron is like, nah, F that, man. F that. That's my effing son. Blah, blah. I'm like, really? It's just such a sucker move. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I kind of sympathize. Not sympathize, because first and foremost, right? They both rich, and when you got that much money, you fight with lawyers. So
True.
so if it was going to really go down, to me, it looked like just a tension whole move, something somebody
Yes.
would do just to
Yeah.
bring, I guess, the attention back to Bronny, because I feel like nobody's talking about him anymore. He's like starting to fizzle out, and if
Mm,
they don't keep him in that media,
I didn't
there's
think
no
about
reason
that.
to have him. There's no reason to have him
Great
there.
point.
So
Great point. I didn't even think about that one. Sneed says Stephen A doesn't want the tables to turn on him and look like a bad guy. He knows the public perception matters, and LeBron's media control could hurt him. No, Sneed, I'm going to push back on you a little bit on that. If we remember, Stephen A just signed a multi-year, I think 5-year, $100+ million deal with ESPN. He's a made man now. Obviously, he's not going to like go on TV on ESPN and start cursing and acting the fool, but I don't think he's too concerned about LeBron's media control hurting him. He's at the point in his career where he's got a lot of juice himself. And I actually thought about it, and I'm like, if you're LeBron, is it the smartest thing to alienate one of the most, if not the most powerful voice in sports media? I don't know. I don't believe that I don't believe that Stephen A is worried about LeBron's media control at all at the point he is at his career. But here's another thing I wanted to point out to you guys and get opinions on it. And some of you guys heard this yesterday, but here's the quote from the great Magic Johnson. If I'm Bronny, I would tell my dad, just let me play in the G League all season so that I can develop. He needs playing time. He doesn't need to be sitting on the Lakers bench and not playing. That's not a knock against him. He's just not ready. He needs to develop more. Then he will be ready because he has some great talent and skills. But he needs to develop those skills at a much better clip if he wants to play 15, 20 minutes a night in the NBA or more. That is the great Magic Johnson. I find it very interesting that LeBron didn't go run up on him, right? Why? Because Magic Johnson could look him eye to eye, right? 6'9", 260 also. You running up on that guy? Why didn't you? Why didn't you tell him that's my effing son? That's my effing son. Don't talk about my effing son. You see what I'm saying, G?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going. Magic is way bigger than Bron, man, when it comes to just like star power, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So that's Stephen A is like, he's like the guy that didn't play, but his voice is bigger than the players in most cases.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
So I don't know. I was hearing stories about players not talking to him anymore, like
Stephen A.
Draymond Green, because of what he said. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, this is becoming soft as freaking
baby
powder.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Correct.
come on, bro. Like, all right, y'all taking this too far, man.
Too far.
Yeah, it's like a Drake album, man. Soft.
Mm-hmm. Soft. No, you're 100% right, G. You're 100% right. But really, Draymond is not going to talk to Stephen A because of this LeBron thing? Like, did LeBron tell Draymond he's not allowed to talk to Stephen A anymore? Like, what's that about?
Right.
You know
like, what is going on here? Well, I guess, I don't know, man, but
well, we know Draymond
it's a
is
good
clutch.
storyline. It's a really good storyline when it comes to, just pushing narratives and keeping Bronny in media, man. Because other than that, like, at some point, it's like, all right, we only care about, can you play basketball, bro? Like, do you got straps? Can you, like, fit, like, that type stuff, man? I don't think it's
But you know what, though, G? You're saying, and I agree with you, that it really is supposed to only be about, can you play basketball? But here's the difference, man. One, you're from the old era. Two, you come from the grit, from the blacktop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not say the old, you know what I mean when I say the old era, man. We from the 80s and 90s, man. You know what time it is. Yeah, so I say when the old era, I say that. And you come from the grit, you know what I'm saying? You come from the blacktop, right? And that's where you grew up balling, and that's, you have the toughness mentality, right? So think about this, right? Until like you got older, how much did you play in the gym? Because I remember when we were coming up, we played outside all the time. And then, you get a couple of bucks, you go pay a couple of bucks, you get to go play in the gym. And that was like heaven for us, getting to play on the hardwood, right? So like, go ahead.
No, you're right. No, that's absolutely correct, man. Like, you started out on the blacktop, tore your knees up at an early age. And then you started playing on that hardwood, and that just changed everything,
Yeah. So like the mentality is so different now. Like the grit is not nearly the same. Kareem says now LeBron Jr. is talking about Stephen A. Elias Smith, saying it's always the ones who never played talking smack, and why LeSucker James didn't have no smoke for Isaiah Stewart. So Kareem, I looked at that comment saying it's always the ones who never played. I was trying to figure out if that was a real Bronny account. I haven't been able to verify that or not. I saw that yesterday and I was looking it up this morning. I haven't been able to verify whether or not that's really from Bronny, but I don't know. Yeah, your favorite hater. Absolutely. Playing on the hardwood, man, you thought you was there, right? You thought it was the NBA finals. I remember, just like late 90s, early 2000s, man. We in Brooklyn and we balling. And we used to play Glenwood PJs and play, Tilden Park and all that stuff. I know Kareem knows what I'm talking about. We used to play all that, but then, then they put up a spot called Hoopland that had like 8 courts in it. So, we get our couple bucks together, go ball in Hoopland, and we thought we thought we were Lakers versus Celtics, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, what? Hardwood we out here? Yeah, so definitely. But yeah, the mentality is very different now. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't like the fact, getting back to the main topic, that LeBron created this whole situation and now he's upset if anyone says anything. Like, you did this. I've been using this analogy over and over. You don't get to paint the target on your son and then get mad when people start shooting at him. You know, like, remember Lonzo Ball? Remember his pops was talking all that, talking so greasy. That made dudes what? When Lonzo came in the league, they were going at him from day one. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't. That's just part of what you got to go through, I think, as a young player. And, you know, you just earn your stripes, go through it. People talk, they talk. Like, if you're LeBron, did you not know that this was coming? Right? Did you not know that by virtue of him being your son, that people were going to go at him verbally and physically? Like, I don't understand why he's so upset about this. It's disingenuous.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. I don't know, man. Like, you had to know you was throwing your son into the gauntlet. In the
Right.
NBA, man, you had to know people was going to be like, oh, you know, he averaged 6 points at USC, bro. Like, you had to know that wasn't going to be enough for him. You know, he's not mature. That's the only thing Magic was saying. His game isn't mature enough to play in the league. He
Right.
need to mature more. That's pretty much it. Like, LeBron jumping in front of bullets at 50,000 points. You need to just
right.
you need to give 20 of them to his son and then be like, make sure when you get to 20,000, you got more than 4 rings. Like, yo, come on, bro. About to get started, man. I ain't like that, bro. I didn't, man. And I care less about Stephen A. Smith. I just don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like how it looks, man. I just don't like the narrative, even for LeBron, right? Like, now you taking. There's certain things that's supposed to motivate you, man. Like, if somebody talking shit to you, that's supposed to motivate you. If it's not motivating you, then you look like, oh, don't leave my son alone. Like, come on, bro. No.
Yeah. Yo, for y'all who don't know, right? G always used to say when we on the court, he'd say, "Don't rattle my cage. Don't rattle my cage." I've seen him do it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely. It's supposed to motivate you, get you going, get the juices flowing. So I don't know. So that's what we got, man. Didn't want to get too deep into that. If you really want to know my like in-depth thoughts on this, you could check out the live that I did yesterday about LeBron and Stephen A, where I played like the entire clip, kind of broke that down and really dug into it, but didn't want to take all day today to do that. But I definitely wanted to get G's thoughts on that. And unfortunately, Transformer's not here to share his opinion on it, but definitely would have liked to share that with you. But yeah, you can check that out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and we'll take a couple calls on it, see what you guys think about it. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Let's get you guys' thoughts on this. LeBron versus Stephen A, man. What did y'all think of LeBron running up on Stephen A? Was that necessary? I especially want to hear from someone who thinks that LeBron didn't do anything wrong there. Let's go. Sid Bubba, good morning, Chief. How are you?
Good morning, Bruce. Peace be unto you, my brother. Gino,
thank you, sir.
What's going on, bro?
Nothing much. I keep saying this ain't about Bronny. Bronny was a pawn on this. This is about LeBron and Stephen A.
Yeah.
Bruce, to what you said before, Stephen A gave fluff pieces about Bronny.
Yes.
Come on. LeBron shouldn't get mad about that. And on top of that, Stephen A got his boys' numbers. He could have called him to say, hey, man, blase. That was a strategic move because LeBron wanted to get at Stephen A probably for digging at him on everything. Stephen A we all know LeBron ain't that type of guy to roll up. I would even call it bullying because LeBron ain't going to bust a grape. Now.
Right.
Now, had it been Charles Oakley, this man walked up on Stephen A.
and slapped him.
Then I would call it bullying.
Yes.
You ain't going to have LeBron ain't going to do that. LeBron's a billionaire.
Right.
Stephen A got $100 million. They ain't going to do that.
No.
These are two narcissists fighting for narrative. LeBron trying to push his narrative. Stephen A is trying to push narrative.
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about. two narcissists fighting. The sad part about it, Bronny is swept in the middle of all that.
Mm-hmm.
And journalism 101. As a journalist, you don't want to be part of the story. Your job is to call.
That's right. That's right.
Stephen A. wants to be part of the story. LeBron wanted to be part of the story, and that's that.
Great point.
Now,
yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Bronny, we all know Bronny wasn't going to be that good, and he had to go to the G League.
Right.
Why would LeBron run up to Magic to front him on something? We all know Bronny needs to be in the G League. He was in the G League playing good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I can't see this as about being. It just run through my running through my head as a former auditor. I just can't see this about being about Bronny.
No, that's a great point.
The man compliment your son, and you know how Stephen A. do. You know, LeBron, he's a great father. He's a great kid. Blase, blase, blase.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
Mm-hmm. So he knew. LeBron knew that. And then he knew the cameras was on now.
Right.
It's the middle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I keep saying it's this video with Jason Woodlock put, Willa James really punked Stephen A. Smith. It ain't about Bron.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking because of all the stuff that you said before that. You know, I was like, he didn't say nothing that bad about it.
Right.
He protected him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if Stephen A. like you, he'll protect you. Look at AI.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So look at that back in the day. And then two, if Stephen A. got personal, believe me, Glenn Big Dog wanted some real beef. Kenyon, Kmart wanted some beef with Stephen A. for talking about his money. So this ain't the first time Stephen A. had to kind of back off. But LeBron ain't. I can't see it as a bully move. Because LeBron, he's 6'9", 280, but he ain't gonna throw no hands.
Right. Well, I mean, only a fool would throw hands as a billionaire, right?
Yeah, I can't see that punk at Stephen A. But what I will say, it's a battle of narrative. Now, Skip coming back, come on. This is narrative. That's that narrative stuff on the NBA, which Charles Barkley don't like.
Right.
That's about all. You got anything to say, G?
Oh no, man, that's spot on, bro. That's spot on. I agree.
Yeah, bro. I can't see it. I can't see it.
You know what? You just mentioned something interesting, Sid Bubba. You mentioned the Skip Bayless piece, which is something else I hadn't considered. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's interesting how all this stuff is lining up. And G mentioned it earlier. That I think Stephen A. is supposed to be on the Skip Bayless show sometime later this week. And all this is kind of lining back up in a very interesting fashion. Now, could this be a function of let's see how the ratings look, even though it's social media, but let's see how people tune in and see what type of engagement it gets, seeing Skip and Stephen A. on a show together again for the possibility of Skip returning to ESPN. Not necessarily on First Take, but back to ESPN where they could do more crossover work. I didn't think about any of that.
Right. I mean,
they really cook Bronny, bro.
Any kind of sizzle, that's the story.
Yes.
That's what everybody looking at.
Well, you got to have that. There's a saying in journalism, if it bleeds, it leads. And unfortunately, that's the case.
There you go.
Yeah. Because it is a business. We got to remember that part as well. So
yeah, that's what I was trying to get at my boy. That's what I was trying to tell my boy Steve. I said, I ain't about Bronny. He could have picked up the phone and talked to Stephen A.
Yeah. Any one of them, Rich Paul, Maverick, Randy Mims, any one of them. And think about this, right? Think about this. Both
January, bro.
Right. And think about this. Both Stephen A. and LeBron have production companies. They could have said, okay, we'll put this on our production company. We'll sit down and hash it out. Everybody will watch. Everybody's going to want to see it. I know I would have watched. Why? I'm a content creator, right? We talk sports. And these are two of the major names in sports media. So we would have watched and we would have come back on this show and all the other shows and we would have talked about what they had to say and what it really means and blah, blah, blah. Like that would have been the better move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when does LeBron ever just confront anybody?
That's true. He's the most passive-aggressive dude ever. Great point.
LeBron, he ain't gonna just roll up. He knew what he was in the middle of the game. Everybody, what? Man, come on.
Yeah. No, LeBron does not move happenstance. That's one thing I can say about that guy. He thinks things out first.
Everything he did. What do you say? He's a master media manipulator, and that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He wanted to manipulate the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then what? As far as Bronny playing, you know, everybody can see what happened once Bronny started to the G League. He started playing well. Guess what? Bronny kind of went away.
That's right. Gee, you were about to say something?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot, some key pieces missing that we don't have right now. And it's just making it hard to. I mean, they left it with speculation because.
No, I'm laughing at
that. You know what? That could be it. That absolutely could be it. It could be something that happened a long time ago, and now it's like, oh yeah, it was on site, but he let that beef. It cooked too long, bro. Like that's something you address like the next right then and there, man. You don't wait like the end of the season and be like, oh yeah, by the way,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, because I know when I think of big guys confronting. And Charles Oakley, if I picked him off, he came to me, that's bullying. Because I'd have to have that peace with him.
Right. Yeah, you messing with Oak. Yeah.
Or Anthony Mason. Some guys,
right.
But they will put hands on you. And
they will. Jerry Stackhouse. Yeah, those guys are known for it.
Right. So Stephen A. knew. He would. But it's deeper because when the bosses told Stephen A. to address it, he had to address it.
Yeah.
So you say leave my son name out your mouth.
Coward. And he kind of coward because he just signed a $100 million contract.
That's
you
right.
Can't really get out of pocket.
Right.
You get too far out of pocket because you say you're a boss, but then you got to report to them because they own you and they can put that pressure on you.
Damn. You heard that, G?
Yeah.
That was the thunder outside.
Yeah, but that's about it. That's about it. All I got to say.
You said keep my son out of this or stop talking about my son.
Stephen A. said that what LeBron said to him was, "That's my effing son. That's my effing son." Like, don't talk about my effing son. I'll send you the audio after, but that's what Stephen A. said.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
Come on, man. He didn't have to do that.
No, not at all.
A tweet with a king emoji.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He didn't have to do that.
I think the more and more we look at it, the more this whole thing seems orchestrated. That's a great point, Sid Bubba.
It is orchestrated. That's why I looked at that Jason. That's why I sent you that thing on Jason Whitlock. Because Jason Whitlock, what he did, and I had to follow him. I don't really F with Whitlock like that, but what he said made a lot of sense.
Yeah, he can do that from time to time.
Right, he can do that from time to time.
Yes.
From what he was saying on the video, it was like Skip made a lot of money off LeBron on the LeBron narrative. Even they made a lot of money on the LeBron narrative.
Right.
LeBron finally kind of figured it out and said, "Oh no, y'all ain't gonna just get money and keep coming at me at my expense." That's why he went up there. And then that's when I started trying to connect the dots myself. I said, the issue with Bronny wasn't that big. Come on now. And Bruce, you're supposed, and I'll use air quotes, supposed to be a LeBron hater.
I am not.
Come on. Wait a minute. You said and everybody kind of like, well, the kid didn't play good, then he played well. Come on.
I hear you. But I'm gonna let you go, Sid Bubba. We're gonna move on, all man. Right, great call, man. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
All right, then. IG.
Yeah, that was a good one. Sid Bubba, he definitely gave me some different perspectives and different things to think about. I agree with a lot of what he said, pretty much all of it. Any last thoughts on this topic before we move on? Oh, hold on. Let's get Steve. Steve's calling. Steve, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce. What up, G?
Steve, what's going on, bro?
Not much, bro. Where that purple paint?
Hands on.
Bruce outshined you a couple weeks ago, man. He had them purple walls. That looked good. Hey,
What you got,
just wanted
Steve?
to call because I shout out Sid. We were going back and forth in the chat respectively. I agree with Sid on his breakdown of this, and I will go back and look at that video he just told me that Whitlock shared. Now, I just got premise. I don't watch Whitlock like that. I agree there's times he has some good points, especially around Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm. Whitlock kind of turned me off a while back for my personal belief perspective. He's not the most welcoming to Catholics. He said some things where I kind of I'm turned off. But shout out to Sid. I will check that video out because I'm not really up to date on a lot of Whitlock's content. Mm-hmm. But to grant Sid and all of his points as far as using Bronny as a pawn, so to speak, as far as there was build up behind this, I grant all that. Mm-hmm. And I do think it's a power play of narrative. In my perspective, I think it's LeBron kind of publicly flexing on one of the hierarchy of the media, sports media world, where he's going to publicly, I don't know if bully's the right word, but it's almost like a flex. Let people know it's like, hey, you step out of line, mm-hmm. regardless of the context. I'm LeBron. I control what happens with the media. I think he had something similar on Twitter with Kendrick Perkins, where he didn't follow him or unfollowed him or something.
Yep.
Kendrick may have said something. So this is a behavior pattern we can recognize with LeBron and his ability to influence narratives and control certain voices within sports media.
Yes.
Now, grant all that with Sid, the build up, the context that's deeper than the surface level. I kind of want to talk about the surface level of it, where it's I do have to hold LeBron to account for the words that came out of his mouth to Stephen A. Using Bronny as a potential pawn in this, which I would agree, but still, the way a father addressed this, I have to talk about it because I think it's an effeminate way to try to protect your son, who's now a grown man, mm-hmm. and he's engaging in his professional career. Now we can talk about the context of we probably know LeBron got his son drafted, but the point being is we're here now. Mm-hmm. LeBron is a professional athlete.
That's right.
He is a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And this idea that you're going to go publicly, scrutinize another man for doing his job. And let's be honest, I don't think Stephen A. said anything out of bounds regarding Bronny. In fact, anytime he addresses the situation, he's got to go in a preamble, pretty much kick mm-hmm. LeBron's ass and tell him you're a great father and all that.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think Stephen A. was out of bounds with any of his actual job requirement of critiquing and maybe some pushback towards Bronny. So this idea that you have to go out, it's almost like we talked a little bit, directly when I was messaging you. It's this is overbearing mother behavior, mm-hmm. where it's you have to go out and protect your cub. It's no, dude. You signed him up for this.
That's right.
You put him in the public spotlight.
Yes.
You used your leverage to get him in this team. Your mm-hmm. tweets of the past are pretty much saying that your son belongs here and that he can outcompete a lot of these other professional guys in the NBA. Mm-hmm. So it's you can't have it both ways. And this idea that you have to now go out and defend your son and put on a circus like this in the middle of a timeout. I mean, it's just a very bad look in my worldview, in my perspective. Now, granted, I am not a father. I had a father. I had a grandfather. I was grown up to the idea where it's you're a man, dude. You're going to have to fight the world.
Mm-hmm.
This is you. I've done what I could to train you,
right.
to raise you to fight these battles.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on me to protect you anymore.
That's
you're
right.
your own man. And that's kind of how I interpreted this interaction, where it was Bronny's his own man.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is now LeBron is going to put even more of a target on Bronny by doing something public like this, where it's is Bronny his own man? Is he
Mhm.
still just daddy's kid? Is this daddy daycare? Like,
Mhm.
what's going on here? It's just not a good look from my worldview, from my perspective. But yeah, I agree with Sid as far as the deeper context. But I just kind of wanted to talk about the surface level, what we witnessed, and you kind of have to hold LeBron's word. You know, you have to hold him accountable. It's like, well, this is what was said. You know, even if he used Bronny as a pawn, which I think he's already done that with his professional career, but if he's going to use Bronny as a pawn in this incident with Stephen A., I think we can address the surface level and how this is viewed, where it's like, this is just not a good look as a father. Now, it's
Mhm.
not to say he's not a bad guy. I'm not condemning him. He's raised his kids. He's a married man. God bless him. Like,
Right.
that's all fantastic.
Right.
I'm not criticizing, condemning anything like that. But it's like, now we have to go into the context where Bronny is a grown man.
Mhm.
This is his career. You can't go to battle for your son with everything that anybody says. You got to let your son be his own man. But
Yeah. No.
that's how I interpreted the interaction at the surface level. But the deeper context, shout out to he made some great points.
Great points. Yeah. I appreciate the call, Steve, man. Thank you for your thoughts. Definitely good stuff there.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys have a great day. I'll be in a chat for a little bit, but I got a church function I got to go to here shortly. So I'll be in the
Absolutely,
chat
man.
for a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right,
Enjoy
bless
that,
you,
brother.
guys.
All right, good stuff from Steve. And the final thing I'll say about that, when he was talking about, raising a son and preparing him to face the world, I did think it was interesting because Nino called in on this topic yesterday, and one of the things that he said that I also hadn't considered is being that LeBron pretty much was raised without, a proper father figure, that he's now overcompensating and dealing with his own sons. And I thought that's interesting. I hadn't considered that either. I guess it's hard to sometimes to look outside your own upbringing and understand what somebody else may be facing and how it affects their behavior, So
Nah, I get that, man. But at the same time, there's a lot of parents there's a lot of people grew up without parents, man. They grandmother, their grandfather. I think honestly, man, I was looking at this because we gotta look at it always. That is a really, really great point that Nino brought up as well. Steve brought up a whole bunch of really, really good points. I think it's a flip in the narrative. 50,000 points. I keep going back to it. Right, he was getting hammered. 50,000 points. You would think LeBron would have 21 championships. The way people, talk about him. 4-10 in
Right.
the finals. Like all these nerds, and now you got 50,000 empty calories. Now, I can't say they all empty. Maybe 20,000 of them are empty calories. But and so now you flip the script and it's like, leave my son name out your mouth. And it's beef that was cooking like 10 years ago, unless he already knew that, Stephen A is going on the Skip Bayless show. And he's just like, hey, look, when you go on the show, keep my son name out of it. That would probably make
I
more
didn't think about
sense.
that either.
That would make more sense than, right now in the middle of the game, you like,
right. I'm
The
gonna just run
context
over here,
didn't,
curse
yeah,
and
the
do it out.
context,
And
it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So
gee, now
maybe
you spitting, bro. You spitting. So this is crazy. The more we delve into this and think about it, the more angles we're seeing of, all type of nefarious plots and whatnot. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. He might, hey, you go over there, you better keep skipping 9, right?
Yeah.
No, that's a great point. I hadn't thought of that either.
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Right. None of us know, but I do think
billionaire
that's
talk
as well. Yeah.
Billionaire talk is soft,
Facts.
man. Like
Facts. I got Laker Nation on the line. Let's hear what he got to say, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Laker Nation, good morning.
I'll keep it brief.
Because I know I'm gonna hear from you on that third topic. But anyway, go ahead.
Shut up. Steven said pretty much hit some good points. So this is what already was said. Don't need to be explained again. But only reason sorry, damn. Only reason why I called in was because you said maybe it's because he didn't grow up with a father figure and all that. Got a little pushback on that. There's a lot of men that grew up without their fathers that grew up to be, stand-up guys and handle their business. It's the mindset of the individual and how they move.
So it's basically him. You know, it's just the moves that he, that he made. Some males need a male role model, need a mentor. Not sure if he had one when he was growing up, or if he had, but I feel like that's probably one of the things that he did. I mean that he probably needed, and he probably look at it as he don't want them to go through all of that he went through. He trying, I guess he calls himself protecting them. Which is a father's, main thing is try to,
absolutely
try to protect your youngsters from going through what you went through. But at the same token, disclaimer, can't fault a parent for thinking like that. But if you look at it, most of the best lessons that we've learned in life was from us going through those types of situations that made us grow versus what parents, mentors told us what not to do. Just saying.
No, I hear you on that. And I'm not going to, this could be a much deeper conversation, but I'll just keep it simple in that I don't want it to appear as if I'm saying that if you didn't have a father or father figure in your life, you can't be successful or be a stand-up guy. That's not what I'm saying. But every statistic shows, every metric shows that having a nuclear 2-parent household with a mother and a father, children turn out better. Every statistic shows that, every metric shows that even in a situation of single parenthood, children raised by the father turn out better than children raised by the mother in a single parent environment. So clearly a father is absolutely essential. And, the modern world wants to push this narrative that it's not, but that's just not the case. But anyway, we could go down that rabbit hole, and this show is not for that, but I'm just saying.
I took psychology in college, so I know the statistics.
Right.
But what I will say before I let you go, I didn't say this yesterday, was Stephen A. kind of brought this on himself too. He's been, calling for the smoke for the last 30 years. He's been telling athletes, like, you know where I'm at. I'm not hard to find.
That's true.
Pull up.
Great point.
So
yeah, great point.
LeBron pulled up.
He sure did. He does always say that. That's a great point. What's up, G?
He do say that.
He really,
we got to stop
really
all
pull
this.
up. Man, LeBron better drop that bag off to Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, man. Or they gonna dissect their whole family, bro. Like I said, that's two of the biggest voices in the league in sports.
But you know what though, LeBron, I always say it. LeBron, his whole thing is no such thing as bad publicity. So it's like you said, as long as they in the cycle, he doesn't care. He gonna make it look like he cares, but as long as he in the cycle, as long as people talking about me, that one there made me the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
But I got one more. I had one more top thing I have to say about Bron, but I guess I'll save it for later. Let's still keep moving. It's about him mimicking Jordan's moves. Like it's like every move that he made mimic Jordan's moves. So I guess I'll discuss that. G looks like I'm speaking nonsense.
No. I'm trying to figure out what you're referring to. Go ahead. Say that again.
Like Bron's moves that he's been making since he came in the league was trying to mimic Jordan. Since day one.
Well, he couldn't do it like another guy, but anyway.
It's wearing the number. Calling himself the chosen one. They called Jordan baby. I'm gonna say baby Jesus, Black Jesus. From
powder toss, all that.
From the powder toss. From the entertainment, doing Space Jam. Jordan starting his own brand. They're both signed with Nike. Jordan branching off from Nike, started his own empire. Bron branching out, starting his own media empire. Both guys hired people that they comfortable with to help run their company. There's too many similarities in their in his moves for somebody to not wanting to be on that mantle.
Yeah, big facts.
Going
Mike
back to what I said
definitely.
yesterday, like all his moves he they're pre-calculated.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, Mike definitely laid the blueprint for not only
Mm-hmm.
LeBron but a lot of players. You had to follow that. That was a natural path to success. But I think where he fell short was he wasn't able to, and from a monetizing his brand, I think he definitely doing a really good job, probably like top 2
Mm-hmm.
when it
Yes.
comes to following that blueprint. But then if you look at like just the wins, right? He didn't win enough. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if he would have won enough, that would have propelled his career a little bit more, man. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think he would have been able to step over Jordan as like having that blueprint. I think
Yeah.
any business model you can follow and but you also have to win, right? I think that's why the Jordan brand was able to make so much money.
That's what it came down to. The
Yeah,
winning and the dominance on the floor. And LeBron,
yeah.
he doesn't have that no matter how much stats he puts up. But yeah, Laker Nation, we're gonna go ahead and
Let me get off, man. So
we're gonna
so
roll
you
to
can
this
talk
next
about
topic.
Appreciate you, bro.
your second favorite player in the league, Jokic.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, we'll talk, man. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.